hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. All right. Hey, what's going on? This is your man Frank Castle, and this is Fearless. And once again, I am joined by my co-host and etherical translator, healer, spiritual teacher, and prayer warrior. Paula is in the house.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
I want to say big shout outs to Chris and Cherie for making this all possible. Bringing Fearless to the table was a very big opportunity for all of us. The story that I tell it's huge in its scale, but it will make people think you're crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's the oldest story in history that you've never been told, kind of. That's how I see it. And now we're telling the story. I just want to say shout outs to truthfrequencyradio.com. Don't forget to go out and download the app so you can get the shows at any time you want. You could listen on air. Just click the app. Have a great time with it.
Yeah, go in, get your all-access pass. There are multiple membership types you can sign up for. There's a membership type that fits everyone's budget. And support Truth Frequency Radio. Yeah,
that's what's up. And speaking about support your local music, support independent music, artists such as myself and the music group Heist Click. That's HeistClick. You can find us on Amazon, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Xbox Live, YouTube, SoundCloud, and at Reverb Nation, it's at Heist Click Music. So check it out, and wherever you are, make it a TFR.
So when we last left off, you were explaining to everyone about your first DMT trip.
Absolutely.
So do you want to pick up where we left off?
Yes, I'd just like to give a disclaimer before every show. I'm not telling you to go out and do any of this stuff. This is my own experiences. Everything I speak about is from my personal perspective. I am open to change my perspectives like water would flow. So understand it might be like this now, and later it changes to something else. And it's all part of the growing process and growing fearless. And as if you could hear the police siren in the background, shout out to the Bronx, New York. But I kind of bullet noted everything this time to make it more of an interesting storyline. Okay, here we go. Last we left off, I had just finished talking to a couple of entities. Lucifer specifically.
The Lucifer entity.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I went from there and I spoke to Isis, the goddess of love, who emanates love. I was standing in front of a wall of color. The color was red. I noticed that there was a red block in my waistline, like around my stomach area. It was bright red. And the wall was moving and it was alive and it came towards me. And it was like an ocean that was up and down, not like underneath me, right? And it reached out, and the red in the color in this ocean of energy went through my body, and when it came back and it pulled back, it removed the red section that was actually in my body. I started screaming, "Give that back! It doesn't belong to you!" And then instantly, as the wave would retract again and go back out, it hit me, and I hear, "Now you're fixed." And there was a sigh of relief. And then I said, "Hey, wow, that feels great." I don't know what they did to me, but they removed a color and then replaced it with a brand new version of it. And it was beautiful. Okay.
So more clearing out. Basically, is what you were experiencing from the last conversation. So they basically cleared something out.
Well, I would say my sacred. Now that I know the area, it would be my sacral chakra area. The red, your ability to give love. This is how I have to assume certain things because they're showing me the goddess of love. The section is in the red color section because it seems like color and sound, frequency, vibration, it all unlocks different areas in these places, which is pretty amazing. Once that was fixed, the wall disappeared and fell down. I was shown a giant etherical machine. I mean, it was like walking up on a warehouse, but except the warehouse outside was alive. And it reminded me of those old Mickey Mouse cartoons where everything dances. The steam pipe was going in time with the guy sweeping the floor. There was a little green guy. He was like pulling a piston back and forth. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, this is the machine. They write songs about it."
Yeah. Welcome to the machine.
Welcome to the machine. It's a real place. I got to watch myself because I've been saying a lot. I think that's due to nervousness.
Oh, stop. You don't sound nervous.
Okay. So I said to him, "So what does this machine do?" And he says, "It does everything." I says, "What do you mean it does everything?" He says, "Well, you know when they tell you that anything could happen, should happen, can happen, might happen, you thought about imaginarily could happen. Well, all of that really did happen. And we took it and put it into this machine. And then we turned it on." And I said, "And what happened?" He goes, "Well, you see how it's dancing and moving." So I dubbed it the chaos engine, the chaos machine. There was a small door right next to him. And I said, "Well, I guess I'll be going in there." And he said, "You are in there. We're just showing you what it looks like from the outside." So I made my way inside. Okay, I was pulled directly at that point off the planet. I saw the moon, and I was flying by the moon.
So you're out of your body at this point.
Completely out of my body. I saw the earth beneath me. I floated up past the moon. As I got to the moon, I looked back. I saw the dark side of the moon. Everybody wants to know what the dark side of the moon is, right? I saw two beings. They were gray. They were running a machine. I said to them, I immediately felt uncomfortable. Immediately. There was a being with me. Apparently he was talking to me. He was on my right side. I did not look at him often because I was distracted and I was angry, which is really weird. I was filled with anger, but I was light on the other side. So I approached the beings and I seen that the machine was taking energy from the planet. It looked like it was sucking, like a vacuum cleaner, sucking energy off. Not all of the place, just wherever this beam kind of hit. And I noticed that they were souls being pulled in. And I immediately started screaming how foul that was. Like, hey, there are universal laws, and I know you're not supposed to be doing that. They had this container they were sticking their hands in and pulling some out, and they were like smearing it on their faces. And they looked like they were having a great time until they saw me. They realized that I was looking right at them, and I started talking to them. And one of them said to the other, "What do we do with this?" And he goes, we have to do our job, our purpose, so to speak. So ignore him. And I started thinking to myself, what are they doing here? And I really stopped and was just, you know, when you stare at someone and you just keep staring, like I was hoping they were hearing me.
Yeah.
And then there was a transfer of knowledge at that moment. It kind of like echoed into me. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, the false light technology. You guys are pulling in spirits that think they're getting, they think they're seeing their relatives. When you cross over a certain barrier, things can approach you. I suggest looking around at any given time because you'll see many lights that shine. The minute you seem to draw focus onto one area, that area seems to approach you. It's almost like you think it, you're there. I think their technology, I believe their technology works to where you glare at them or at that area, see that light instantly, because a lot of times you're like amazed that you're out of your body, but you don't even realize it. And the first thing that happens is you become approached. Just like when you're a baby, you're born, the first thing that happens, they start ejecting you and smacking you and throwing you around. You're like, hey, what are you doing? Right? These things have some ill intention, and I was screaming about it. The entity that I was with on the right, he was long, green-gray, skinny, tall, very tall. He had like a triangular face, which was odd. He had a very long, like sternum.
Torso, yeah.
The torso and the legs. And he said, we have to go. And I said, we can't let this. He goes, you have no control over this. Understand it and move on. I said, okay, I guess this is the beginning of this journey. This was the second, by the way, time I smoked DMT in the evening. I waited 1 hour. I was asked if I want to do this again. And I said, absolutely, I have to go back. Mine lasted an hour and a half, so it was weird. Other people's only lasted 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Some people, 5 minutes.
Well, clearly there was something they wanted you to see, so you felt the need to go back.
Well, I was told by the shaman that the week before they had drank ayahuasca and smoked DMT and told them I was coming. Also said that I had to go through this. So they were to put me through it and, help me through that process, facilitate it, and that they would be my shaman, then I would be theirs, which I found really weird at that time, specifically what was happening to me. So I moved on. We started flying past other planets. We flew by Mars.
This is all still while you're out of your body.
I was out of my body and the Earth was getting further away from me.
Away.
I saw trees on Mars. Lush green areas. There was like a breeze and I could see it whipping through everything. And I was telling the being, oh, people live on Mars. And he said, people live everywhere. And I was shocked to hear that. I said, what are those? And they looked like military bases, underground. Like you could almost, he was pointing things out that were underground. Like bunkers and stuff. But then also like where a civilization would live as well, not just U.S. military human type bunkers. Where I'm talking about like civilization underneath the ground that I'm not from.
Underneath the ground. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I said, there's pockets of them everywhere. I said, there's water. I seen water flowing. And I'm like, why don't they show that? And they were like, we'll get to that later. So I flew out again. I did it again. I flew out past towards Saturn. I was amazed by the rings of Saturn. Always amazed as a kid. What is going on up here? This is so beautiful. I just want to look at it and see it and be around it. Well, we stopped and took a look around. He said, I want you to look around. I noticed inside the rings, this was really weird. I have no background in any of this stuff. I like aliens and UFOs and all that. There looked like there were glass tubes inside the rings, and some of them, not all of them. Some rings were just broken and shattered rock. Others, there were like these ships creating the rings like chemtrails. It was very weird. But there were these tubes, and there were people in the tubes.
So like a transportation device.
No, well, they were in the ring only. So that was so weird to me. I go, they're living. These glass tubes were gigantic. And these people they weren't human. I'm talking about big, giant people.
Entities.
Yeah, flesh and blood. No, they were flesh and blood.
Oh, they were.
But they were huge people, like giants. But they looked like us, but big. And I was shocked at that. And I said, I know giants existed. But how big are we talking? 12 foot? We talking shack times 2? Because that's huge. What I saw, it was over 20 feet. Definitely, because I was part of the leg. That was it. And I was shocked.
But they were non-human.
They were non-human and they were working. They seemed to be working. I don't know what they were doing. I also looked around. I noticed some of the moons were not moons. They were artificial. I noticed that Saturn, all right, I never seen this before, but Saturn has this hexagonal shape at one pole and what looks like an eye at the other pole. I was watching beings and ships flying in and out. which shocked me to my core.
Of one of the poles.
Both. They were coming in and out of both sides.
Wow.
And I was wondering what is happening here, because I can't see the surface of the planet. Like, I'm not seeing the surface. What are you not showing me? And they said Saturn can be used as a giant portal. That's how they explained it to me, or this entity explained it to me. And I saw regular satellites, satellite moons, like artificial areas, and regular, rock moons floating around. And it was... You have to understand, if you've never seen anything like this, and I thought when you smoke DMT, things dance and they take you around and you see different animals. Like, I was not expecting any of this.
Oh, you were expecting a hippy dippy.
Yeah, I was expecting like a trip.
You weren't expecting the information that you received.
It's information overload, but it seems in your light body, like your spirit form, you start to remember. It makes a connection back to your regular mind. Then it takes your actual brain way longer to develop the ability to actually handle this information.
Well, sure. Your physical brain has to protect your body so that you don't die. You don't have a heart attack and die.
I've been told multiple times, sometimes when we come to you, we do it a little different because we don't want you to have a heart attack and just fall over. And I'm like, come on, really? I've seen you a million times. Then you see one of them, and you almost have you over there. You're having a problem breathing, right? You're like, oh my God, and I'm like, wait, there's no air, but you're still shocked to the core. Okay, but there's some sense of this is so correct as well. Mind you, the colors, the shapes, the designs, everything that you see there is more real than it is here. The connection of being there when you're physically there or spiritually in that world. It is brighter, more colorful. It feels more at home. It's very weird because when you come back here, the first thing you think is, oh, look, I have fingers. I have toes. What is this?
Well, your soul is having the experience, not your physical body.
Exactly.
We are physical. We are spiritual beings living in physical bodies, not the other way around.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard that people think that you just close the door and you're gone. Even though a lot of the stories that we hear are kind of, you're listening to my story, but is my story any different than hearing the crazy stories you read in the Bible? Some of those are crazier. Mine don't involve blood drinking, sacrifices, satanic type rituals, calling themselves, followers of the Christ head. And honestly, there is nothing in the Christ head that says you need to drink blood or eat flesh. So you need to stop that right now. Just, so my take on the Saturn thing now, that because I'm going to revisit this later on, but I thought for a second that not only was it a portal, but since things were making the rings, vibration, frequency, okay? What if they're broadcasting a frequency for the artificial intelligence from Saturn at us? Or anyone that knows how frequencies are broadcast, they go outward and around. Like, you could surround yourself with that. If you fall into that frequency, it's kind of how they get you.
You can hear a
bad
message
habits
that other people can't hear.
Yeah, it becomes different
when
then it disrupts your frequency, your natural to source. Then you regain your source, and you can see it and hear it now. And you go, oh, look at this. So I can't be that unhealthy. You could eat a cheeseburger and have a good time, but you can't eat a cheeseburger every day. And you can't eat fast food every day, just like everything else. Too much of anything is no good for you. And you have to take certain things out that directly want to take away from your spiritual side, such as like fluoride is a very big one for me.
Oh, sure.
It's everywhere. High fructose corn syrup. You got to get this stuff out of your life immediately, and you got to start meditating. My next encounter, it went right from, I thought I went into the portal, the Saturn portal. Everything went black, and I was just in like pure total darkness. I noticed that there was a throne for a giant man or giant being. I don't want to say man. It was for a giant being. So I got closer to it. I noticed that okay, what we would think of as the devil, the horned guy, okay, the whole 9 yards. He was sitting in this, and he had his legs, he had one leg over the other. He had the horns, but he wasn't scary. Like,
so
I was tiny, tiny, tiny.
So this is the Satan energy.
Well, I thought it was just the devil, right? I'm like, look, Mama, it's the devil, right? I went through that whole. I watched him. He had a box, looked like a shoe box that you could see into, though. I could see like it was clear. And I seen souls from where, I guess where from? It was a higher density, but it was flying downward into his box. And he was just sitting back so casually, and he was eating the souls one at a time.
Really?
He was devouring them like num 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 like Cookie Monster. I said to him, so you're the devil, because I already went through this with Lucifer. And he said, no, maybe I'm the devil that you created, but I am the Satan energy. And I said, oh, you on your throne of bones and power and evil and all that. And he said, slow your roll. I want you to calm down for a second. I said, so you're going to try to take me now? Because apparently to have this experience, I have to walk through hell now.
Oh, you must have been terrified.
Terrified. I was freaked out beyond belief, but not as freaked out as I was with anything else. Still freaked out because it's the devil. But he's like, no, I'm not the devil. He explains to me how the devil is like man-made. And I said, what do you mean it's man-made? He says, well, you think of hell. You believe in hell. You have people that tell you, oh, hell. And in hell, there's a devil. Well, you know you're a creator. I can tell you're a creator. He looked right at me. He said, you're a creator. I would never put my will against yours because you know who you are. So I could never win. It's not a matter of me coming after you. It's a matter of you bringing my energy out.
Right. To
the world. So I said, well, what's with the box then and the eatings of the souls? And he said, well, you have to realize creators create me, then do rituals and black magic to bring out me and my energy, to give them power to do certain things. And within that, I become real to them. I make them sign a contract and a deal.
Sure, manifestation. And
you're going to get the power. And you're coming back right back here the minute you're gone. So I got closer to him. I said, this is going to be an important time for me, because I didn't feel like he was going to get me. So, and I was so little, I wanted to be closer. I said,
sure.
This energy is actually kind of cool. It doesn't feel bad. And I know that sounds weird, but I had to play it out through how I felt, because visually it's out of control. Absolutely out of control. But got to keep my composure. I'm standing there with him. I got him, question him. What's in the box? What's in the box? So he showed me. He said, these are the deals and the contracts. So I said, so those contracts really exist? And he says, they exist in blood, and you pay with your soul. I said, well, what happens to the soul? Now, apparently there's like a cosmic center. Mm-hmm. It kind of recycles energy, since you can't dispose of energy that way. But if you sign your soul to something, they can your contract. Like, they eat you, but then that energy isn't gone forever. It becomes like part of them, makes them way stronger. And you are then, your soul is controlled by it. In other words, you switch teams automatically. That's a good way to put it. Now, inside the box were bankers, judges, lawyers. Weird. It was a weird combination of people. And they were all like, I make way more money than you. And they're arguing this with each other. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not with anyone else. They don't even know they're in the box. What's going on. They're just flying in, and they're still in their suits and ties and their judge robes and everything. And their souls were black and white, which was weird. Like, they had like the dim color to it. And I was like, oh, it's almost like you're about to be lunch.
So I was just listening to their conversations. Like I was up against the glass going, oh my God, these guys really think, lowercase g, that this counts? That one guy said, I have a boat. I have 9 girlfriends. My wife has a ring on her finger. I got kids scattered everywhere around them. I won. It was me. I had the most toys. And then another guy said, you don't even understand what I have. And I was like, this is ego city. And the Satan energy just sat back and said, hey, this goes on all day. I don't.
He doesn't even have to work for it. It's happening itself. He doesn't have to do a thing.
Nothing. He doesn't actually come after anyone. Like, it doesn't really work that way. There are dark beings.
We have 1:30 till the next break, so I just want to make sure you don't get cut off in the middle.
Oh, that was very awesome of you.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have any shout-outs to give to people that are listening?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, because they'll listen to this conversation. They'll be like, yeah, we're going to cross her off the Christmas card list. And he's definitely we're going to call someone about him. You have to have a good sense of humor with this because...
Well, it's a lot of
I thought there was
information.
nothing. I thought the box closed and now I got to go get judged by some character.
Nope, not at all.
And I realized that I'm the only one judging myself.
Yeah.
There is no grand judge.
Nope, free will. We're given free will.
I think we should talk a little bit about free will and possibly saying no, how to teach them how to say no in an easy way, and teach them how to say yes properly.
When we get back, sign up, TFR, All Access Pass.
Sometimes I feel like I'm running down the sands of time. Another drink of ayahuasca just to free my mind. I hope to find another day what I've lost before. I'm trying to find my second wind so I can win some more. Don't try to tell me how it is or what can't be done.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Enemy Within Radio on truthfrequencyradio.com. Tackling the subjects mainstream media does not touch. Behind the curtain conspiracies of the elites, controversial science and research, and delving into the paranormal. Enemy Within is a truly interactive show. Join us in the chat room on Truth Frequency Radio and add to the conversation on air. Challenging the narrative with debate and new perspectives. It's time to lift the lid on what's hidden in plain sight. And pencils, the same ones that took away his voice and just left his instrumental like that.
We are submersed in a construct that was designed to break us and keep us broken, but it hasn't. It failed. We still go on because we were designed from an eternal template of infinite creativity and not a synthetic house of cards built on pride and false power. Breaking free from the programs and paradigms that hold us down takes courage, endurance, tenacity, and trust. The reason it is so hard is because to be a free and sovereign being, we have to smash every lie, even if it hurts. It is good to be reminded of how resilient, unbreakable, magnificent, and powerful we truly are. And if anything provides a foundation for that, it is the book Our Universal Journey. Go to ouruniversaljourney.com.au.
Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye. Tuesday and Thursday on Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
All right, we're back live. I'm Frank Castle, and I'm here with Paula, my co-host and empirical translator. I like that. And it's very helpful, by the way. And absolutely so important.
Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. You were dealing with the Satan energy.
He was showing me the soul contracts. I say he because he looked like a he. And he had a fangs, mustache. He looked like that thing that Tom Cruise fought in that weird fairy tale movie where the monster actually looked like the devil. Kind of looked like him. But according to him, we made him that way. Through so many speaking about you should fear this and fear that. Churches and religions seem to have that effect on people.
Fear factor.
The fear factor. So watching these soul contracts and you realizing if you make it to 80 years, 90 years, if you're lucky, you're going to make an infinite a contract that lasts that ridiculously forever with something so you can have something here for such a short time. That's frightening.
It is frightening because the human body can only last, we live under 100 years, but the soul goes on forever.
Now, selling your soul for power, the dark rituals. I was seeing, I want to call it black magic for now, and sex ritual magic. I talked about some of this when we were dealing with some of my music experience, what I saw out there, what they were doing, blessing the masters, coming from the Catholic background, knowing what dark magic would be, like the reverse of the Catholic Church, what they would accept, what they would consider demonic or something crazy like that.
And feeling very conflicted about that, I'm sure.
Jumping right off the page too, like, hey, listen, you guys, this is really not, you don't even know what you're doing. And that was before I knew anything. I was like, now listen, I don't know if any of this stuff is true, but this is something I know you don't want to do.
This seems wrong.
Yeah, it just seems wrong on so many levels. I was shown that you can control and you can keep yourself in power here through certain rituals that everything involves blood, sex, control, domination, and it somehow shields you, whoever's doing it, from karma coming, because what you put out there is what you get back. So you do something horrible like this, it's coming right back to you.
We all repay our karma one way or another.
The ritual puts some kind of wall up between you and that karma and diverts it for a while.
Sure.
Just like everything else, it doesn't last.
Oh, no, of course not. Karma gets repaid one way or another.
Now, they use it the spell would use it to divert back onto people that don't even know, making hardships and wars more palpable to just the regular sheeple type character. And we're so deep in this. The whole world is a living ritual. So you're actually living within the architecture of the ritual. It was done this way on purpose. So for people that go, I don't even participate in this consciously, I don't believe in it, it doesn't matter because it still works. It's magic. That's how it works. Now, eventually that karma wheel the karma wheel pushes the energy through your wall. It comes down and it hits you. So you need to do another sacrifice, whatever you just put out as a spell has to be recast because it doesn't last that long.
And this is what the Satan energy
Oh, he was
is letting you know?
He was
and
showing
telling
it to
you?
me. Like, take a look down this path and watch how they do it.
Wow.
It's like the secrets are available 100% for you. They're not a secret. Who makes it a secret is the people here telling us it's a secret. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, well, they have it in the Vatican Library. Oh, they have it here. You have it there. You can access the Akashic record from a good mushroom trip. You could sit back on your couch and mentally say, I need to access this, and you'll go. People don't believe. We talked about this, I think, having belief.
Sure.
If you believe in it, it'll work. No belief, you're the creator. I over-explain this all the time. As the creator, you get in your own way.
Yeah. If you need to see it before it happens, you'll wait forever. It'll never happen. You need to believe it's so, and then it becomes so.
Absolutely. So if you say, no, I got to believe it when I see it, that's what you were telling me earlier, you'll never see it.
Yeah, you'll never see it. It'll never
Oh,
happen.
that doesn't work on nothing or whatever. You're just going to avoid it, and you'll catch the karma and the repercussion. Okay. Now, people suffer from this desperately.
So now this is what the Satan energy is explaining to you.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
what they access to bring my energy out to give them power.
And he made it very clear to you also that he didn't want anything to do with you.
He said he was created by us,
Right.
thinking there was a devil. So as creators, we created a devil.
Sure.
So that's how
entity.
thought form entity. I wanted to take it here a little
Yeah.
bit because this is really important.
Okay.
We create our own monsters.
Yep.
Our own devils. They tell you in movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, if you don't believe, it doesn't get you. But you have to have faith. The vampire's at the door. All right, well, the monster's here. Are you going to believe in the higher power at this point? Or are you going to wait till it's in here ripping your face off? Because it exists. There's the demon right there.
Yeah, so there has to be the opposite of that as well.
Absolutely. It's a dualistic universe. Now, these men here, these people here doing these rituals, start doing them constantly, but they're in power. It keeps them in power. You ever notice people here are always shielded from, like, how is Hillary Clinton not in jail, we'll say? What shields you at such a high level that this would just constantly happen? You have people are like, I don't understand.
It's a good question to ask.
All right. It's money and wealth. Well, how is this? How are you getting this? What are you going through? What's your ritual? What's your process that puts you in that position that now you can just, nothing sticks to me? What is that all about? But we all know. Well, we all know, but what's going on? Well, take a look etherically at these things. Like I talked about a few times, like during a riot, the things that you see above the riot become nightmarish because everyone's hating and hating and hating.
So you're manifesting hate.
Yeah, like ISIS. Everyone thinks ISIS is a terrorist organization. Why they named it ISIS? Well, I just thought they named it ISIS because that's what they name guys with things on their heads that want to just blow themselves up, right? That was me not understanding what was going on. When you find out the deeper...
Well, that's a good lead in because didn't you meet ISIS on?
ISIS is the
your
goddess
experience?
of love. You have everyone on the planet screaming, "Kill ISIS!" because they're killing people. You're actually a spellcaster. You're spellcasting the word of hate back to love. Like get rid of them.
love.
Like you would actually hear people say bomb an area just to get rid of a few. And that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. Do you have any idea the karma that comes back, the repercussions, the building? You got to look at these things etherically. You have an etheric body. You have a regular body. You have attachments in time throughout time. It's no time and space, all the way back up to source. These things all have to be understood and looked into, or you're not going to get the bigger picture, because now I'm going to start shedding light on some of the darker things that are going on. I saw beings that, because of these rituals, like I can't be so sure that just a human is going to go, hey, I want to do this and it's bad, and then that's all that's going to happen, right? Because that would be too good to be true. Okay, It's just bad guy humans. The deeper you look into this, and I say this all the time, I'm not much of a shape-shifting lizard guy. I'm not really into that. I would think that's technology being used. But these things are there. The lizards, the reptilians, whatever you want to call them, they're there and they're behind the scenes. Above them, almost taking orders from the AI, are these things called archons. They kind of power up, and they're like the supervisors of the area. They're insectoid. Some of them look spider-like. They look like, I seen this council of them where they were wearing black robes and almost had these long gray faces, and they wanted nothing to do with the light. They would turn their back on me as I approached. But they were eating fear. And behind the scenes, they have a whole way they do this harvesting. How they allow through their influence down through the reptilian influence. And then it filters into the humans who have power. This all goes back through that energy, which is also routed through the artificial intelligence, because what is Satan is that cold scientific.
Yes.
You always say there's love.
And then the opposite of love.
And lack of love. That's all that's really there. So when you start to see this, they are eating literally your fear, and above you, in your aura, in the pipeline to you and the Creator, everything that you're attached to and your friends and the web of souls that you all belong to, they're all being, not all, but they all got a little something on them, most. And you have to get rid of this. It's the black cloud over your shoulder. I just can't get it right. I can't. Well, I guarantee you your thinking isn't correct, because there is an incorrect way of thinking.
Yeah, you just have to change the way you think a little bit.
It's not a giant. People always say, it's the hardest thing. Oh my God. Like, we go through this all the time. With it. It's really a slight degree left or right. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing changes. Now, you get yourself a few degrees to the left or right. In the long run, you're all the way over here now. Mm-hmm. So it's actually an easy step to do. Some of us have to use plant medicines. I mean, they explained to me, you could sit on the edge of the mountain and witness God in that moment after 60 years of meditation, or go enjoy your life, drink this. We left it here for you. Eat this. Make it part of your diet. This is a daily, lifetime thing that connects you so you can see why you're here, how and why and what and how do we get this done and all that silly stuff. It's like, how do you do it? Well, you want the answers. You pack churches. You write books about it. You go to war over it. You talk a lot of junk about it. You walk around the street with your head in the sand. Nobody looks up about it, but you'll quote a Bible or a book verse that you don't need. Some guy wrote that. And that's what you're going to throw at people. It's time people start waking up and see what's going on, because your thoughts are putting things in places of, you're creating entities in your head, and you think, I'm just thinking about this. And you're really creating these things to a degree. And you have to watch your thoughts. When they say mind your thoughts, the universe can hear you. Well, they're all listening and we can't see them. And it's about time we start seeing them. I suggest to people at times, plant medicine would be the way to go. Others, just like everything else, there are some people that can just do this.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people. I got to the same conclusion that you got to without plant medicines. And I'm not against it. Not against it at all. But getting the message is getting the message no matter how it comes through. But before we're finished, I just want you to finish this experience that you've had. I know there was a little bit more to the experience.
Okay. I saw the systems developed to keep us in perpetual fear, a fear machine. I saw demons whispering in the ears of men and women trying to influence everyone's decisions, just slightly. They don't need much. I mean, you'd be surprised what a bunch of little Hey, let me go this way instead of that way. What a couple of little thoughts will set into motion. I saw how we create our own monsters and how they trap us. And some of us create monsters as a group, and it collectively brings down, and then others have your own personal demon. A lot of times it's what you fear brings something into you. It's like you become a target instantly.
Absolutely.
Soon as you start that fear, well, we might have to go to war. We might have to. Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump. You people are that's the problem right there. That train of thought, like someone else is gonna do something, rah, and no one else is gonna do anything. You have to do it. You have to do everything. And it's, you know what? It's not that hard. It's better than what you're doing. Your laziness just proves that you're just bringing it. It's like you're letting the demon speak for you. And that sounds too religious for people sometimes. Mm-hmm. So the black cloud on your shoulder has you so depressed with all the pharmaceuticals you're putting in your face. And you just come num, 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 num. And then you're stuffing your face with all artificial chemicals and the crap you're breathing in the air that they're dropping on you. And you're drinking sink water. What do you think's going to happen? You're going to be part of the problem. You don't think you are, but believe me, you are.
Well, it sounds like what you're talking about are you're manifesting those thought form entities. So it's what we think is what's created. So it sounds like from this experience that you've had with Chris, you went from religion to spirituality to artificial intelligence to seeing behind the curtain, which you're very lucky to have seen. And this experience allowed you to have a different view on how you were currently living your life. Am I that far off?
You are not far off at all. As a matter of fact, you landed right there on the horse's back. I was shown how the whole corruption of the creators is creating their own prison.
Right. We do create our own prisons. We're humans on planet Earth. We are given free will, and we test the limits of free will every day. We
do. And we have the ability to spellcast. The spoken word into existence is the manifestation. It is the soul becoming man, traveling from where the soul is to inside the biomechanical machine, the flesh, robot that you're in. Because that's what it is. It's Avatar. That's what it is.
Well, right? Again, it's like I said earlier, it's we are spiritual beings in human bodies, not the other way around. And I think we as a race forget that. We're so busy with work and making enough money and feeding our kids and making sure our kids thrive and go to good schools and have play dates and extracurricular activities that we don't realize that we just have to stop and clear our minds and figure out what it is we really need and what it is we really want to get out of this lifetime. So this was a truly amazing experience, and this is all before your ayahuasca experience.
This is the first.
Yeah, this is like the prequel to
this
the
is almost
ayahuasca.
3 hours of one first night. Just 6 hits divided by 2 of DMT over the course.
So this is prelude. This is
we haven't even got to the sacred feminine or ayahuasca. What I've been doing is just setting up the baseline story so everyone can understand. As we catch up with the story, because it's going to catch up pretty quickly after next week.
Oh yeah, what got you to this?
We're just going to start taking. If you guys have any questions, if we can help, you could send them to the real Frankie FearLess at Gmail, and I'll answer your questions live on air. I don't have a problem with that because there's so much going on.
That's a great idea.
When we do catch up to what's happening, we're going to present things to be able to work in time with it, with energies and what we've been doing here, what we're trying to do, and how the fearlessness went from a story, a campfire story, to now. I'm telling you my story, but we're only in 2014 telling the story. So we're not going back that far. This is all within that time.
And you've covered a lot. You've covered a lot of information. You've covered a lot of ground.
It's a neo-shamanic journey.
In 2 years, it really is. This is a life-changing
You've
experience.
witnessed quite a bit yourself.
I have.
So it's so important to get the message out. And this isn't like a religious thing. We're not trying to cult you. We're not trying to take you and make you believe. You're going to just hear what you need to hear, that you need to understand, and take that and make that part of what your path has and your journey has in store for you.
Absolutely.
I'm a vessel for the message, but at the same time, it's been explained to me that we're here. Star seeds, light workers, light warriors, ETs, interdimensionals, extraterrestrials.
Oh, yeah. The Anunnaki, the Illuminati. There's so much we're going to cover.
Everything is happening right now.
But in order to cover that, you need to tell your story.
Without you understanding the baseline
absolutely.
story, you're going to go, hey, Frank went crazy. He's smoking drugs and that's not really what's happening. And by the way, just to throw it out there again, this isn't something I do all the time at all.
No, this was an experience.
These were just experiences that I had to
time.
help me in these times. Most of the times was for my injury to get over.
Absolutely.
To get over something. So what happened, just to finish up, I want to explain to people, saying no is so important. I'm going to talk about this a lot because of these contracts, and we don't understand sometimes what we're getting involved with because we're clouded spiritually.
Yes.
You need to use discernment. Discernment's a thick thing sometimes. It's difficult to use. You're not sure. It's your gut feeling, your spider sense. Saying no, get used to it a little bit.
It's empowering.
A lot of us are wearing our hearts on our sleeves and having the door shut in our face over and over and over and over again. And we're repeating some kind of time loop because we're not understanding it. So karma is repeating it over and over and over again. There needs to be a new way with this. And
Agreed. We repeat mistakes over and over until we finally learn them.
I was shown high vibrations and low vibrations from the bottom as far as you can go, furthest point from the light before it starts to feel weird, all the way back up to the top, which is source. That's where we're from. In perspective, nothing matters. It's not that far away. Nothing's far. Nothing's close. Everything's just there. Like, all you have to do is kind of think of it. It's in a frequency.
It is just there because we are always connected to source. No matter how far or distant that feeling may be, we are always connected to source. And it is our journey, life's journey, to get back to source. And I think living in the time we're living in makes it very difficult, and it's a constant distraction from source. So if this is what it took for you to become enlightened, for you to realize that you are the creator, you are source, you are what you think, you are what you say, you
are everything. Yes. When you observe things instead of interacting with them wholeheartedly for a minute, being the grand observer pulls you from the equation, making you not part of the problem. That's taking care of yourself and observing. When observing, you can't be afraid. You're the creator. I was explaining to the Satan energy. I said to him, so I basically created you. And he said, the creator created all. So knowing you're the creator, have fun with that thought. Knowing you're the creator, finish it for yourself. Finish that sentence for yourself because it's very important. Last part of the evening, I was taken back to the red area, the red color vibration of love.
Okay, so it comes full circle.
Goddess Isis approaches me the red was so beautiful. It was shades of the colors just moving like an ocean inside some kind of spinning tunnel. And she came upon me, and as she passed over me, I was bathing kind of in her energy. She said, now it is time for you to understand a little bit more of who you are. You've gained this. And my arms turned to swords of light. She said, remember who you are. I called to you and you came. Remember who you are. And I said, I have two lightsabers. You got to be kidding me. Because light swords, now you know why they're so the connection to the light sword, the light warriors,
absolutely.
the Star Wars connection, why everybody wants a lightsaber. It looks cool. Yeah, really? It's just these bright colors coming out of a stick. And that's because on the other side, it's very important that you're armed for your experience. Because just like everything else, there's everything out there. And you need to be prepared.
This is true. And you also have to realize that what you saw during your experience is what your physical brain, what your mind can relate to. So for me, I was a child during the years of Star Wars. I was a Star Wars fan, but I may not see a light sword. It may be something that resonates with me particularly. It may be whatever that thing would be for me. So if anyone does have an experience and they do not see the same surreal, outrageous, wonderful, beautiful things that you've seen, it doesn't mean it's not working. It's how your physical mind will allow you to process the information you're dealing with.
And how far it protects you like a parent.
Yes.
Like a good parent. Like you have two parents and they're both there and they're on the top of the game.
So now, where do you want to pick up next episode? Because we only have a minute and 20 seconds left.
I'm thinking we start the sacred feminine and the ayahuasca. We're going to get into that and the healing aspects and who the feminine energy is.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, that sounds like a great place to start.
And love and truth, frequencies and vibration. This is really what it's all about. And we're going to cover it top to bottom, a little bit at a time. And have fun doing it, because if I don't, I'm going to go crazy with all this. I was actually reading everything I wrote before, and I said, I can't even believe it.
No,
I believe it. No, I believe it. But
it sounds like
it's a great story. That's just interesting.
Well, it's true, and that's what makes it more amazing. It's true.
Oh yeah. So all right, we're out of time for tonight. Just remember, let your light shine in the darkest of nights, because you're never alone. And we're here with you. I'm Frank Castle. I'm here with my co-host, Paula. This is FearLess on TruthFrequencyRadio.com, your protection from deception.
And please sign up, TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Please sign up.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We are proud to bring you cutting-edge programs like Real Politic with Professor James Tracy, Radio Ranch with Robert Sales, Agent for Truth with Joe Bannister, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barr, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Revolutionary Radio with Rob Skiba, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any computer, mobile device, or from any telephone by dialing 832-225-5308, or call into your favorite show toll-free at 866-37-TRUTH. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media 24 hours a day. Truth Frequency Radio. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Well, hello there, Monica. Here you are again, which means you got something on your mind.
I do.